meeting is 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. I'd like to ask Bishop Philip Spence to lead us in prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Carlos Bellis. Please remind and turn off or mute all cell phones and or electronic devices.
Let's bow our heads in a moment of prayer. Eternal God, we first of all come to render thanksgiving for your many blessings already bestowed upon us. We ask that your hand of guidance be upon our city leaders, our mayor, our commissioners, city manager, our attorney, and their families as well. And oh God, continue to infuse them with your great wisdom and grace and courage. Let them lead with passion and compassion. And oh God, infuse each one with your great insight and your great foresight. May the blessings of God be upon each and every one of our great employees of this great city, Father, and bless their families as well. Eternal God, we ask that your great protection will be upon our law enforcement, our fire personnel, EMS, all those that serve and protect. Be their lead and be their guide, and hold each one in the hollow of your hand. We pray for each citizen of our great city. May each one be valued and supported equally, regardless of race or wealth or any other criteria. Be their lead and be their guide. Finally, oh God, help us with time of great political storms that continue to create a great divide in our country. Help us all to work towards a common goal and a common good for all of our citizens. And what does Micah say? Micah 6. He has showed thee, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of each of us? But to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the Lord thy God. Be our lead, be our guide. We pray it in your Son's name, Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner
Everyone stand,
Carlos
please.
Bellis.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
At this time, we'll consider adjustment to and approval of tonight's agenda. There is one item that's going to be removed.
Mr. Mayor, since one item is going to be removed, I would like to add on the agenda the paving of Hillsborough and College Street up to McCallahan Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We add it to the agenda. We had a LGI Home scheduled to do a presentation about their sales going in Meadows and so forth, and they have requested to move to September 30th. So there should be it. That's fine. To provide the highest standards of behavior and transparency in governance, the Board of Commissioners have approved a code of ethics to establish guidelines for ethical standards for board members and to provide guidance in determining appropriate conduct. Among those, board members shall avoid impropriety in the exercise of their official duties and should conduct the affairs of the board in an open and public manner. If any board member knows of a conflict of interest or appearance of a conflict, please say so at this time. There's no conflicts noted. Let record note no conflicts of interest. Tonight we have first order delegation. We'll have a proclamation to be read by Commissioner Tobey, presented by Commissioner Tobey.
We have the family of Pat Winston
Press.
up here, please. You really want us all? Find the good looking ones. I didn't memorize it. I assure you, I didn't memorize it. I'll read it. You could hold that.
John, get the mic, John.
Perfect.
Tell John, get the mic.
John.
Get the mic, John. It'll come out.
You want me to look at you?
No,
No,
take
no.
it in your hand.
Take it off the thing.
I'll sing a song now.
So public in here.
Most of us in the city of Oxford, you, Pratt, or whoever Pratt is. This is our way of honoring Pratt Winston. And I'm going to read what's on that proclamation. Whereas James Pratt Winston, affectionately known as Pratt, was born on December 11, 1933 in Granville County and passed away on July 10, 2024 at the age of 90. And whereas he honorably served his country in the U.S. Army before earning an engineering degree from Danville Technical Institute, using his education and charisma to embark on a successful career as a businessman, and whereas he co-founded Welltron Corporation in 1967, located in Durham, North Carolina. Pratt spearheaded the development of an all-in-one AM/FM 8-track portable entertainment unit named the Welltron Model 2001. This brown-shaped radio was inspired by the sci-fi movie The War of the Worlds, which became a cultural phenomenon and was launched into mass production in the 70s. And whereas Pratt's entrepreneurial spirit and initiative designs not only made him a successful businessman, but also a well-traveled visiting different parts of the world. Despite his success, he remained deeply connected to his roots. In 1980, Pratt founded Winston International Limited in Oxford, North Carolina, along with his late wife, Gwendolyn Winston. And whereas he contributed significantly to the community by serving on the boards of Central Carolina Bank, Research Triangle Park Economic Development, Walter Kitty Company, Grassy Creek Baptist Church of Deacons, and the Granville County Economic Development. Pratt was also an active member of the Anadorum Masonic Lodge number 0149, and whereas he realized he was happiest with his family and his home in Grassy Creek, overlooking the dark sprawling waters of Carlin, Pratt was a cherished member of the Grassy Creek community. He was known for his larger-than-life personality and his role as the master of ceremonies for the Grassy Creek Christmas Parade. And whereas he was a beloved husband to Joanne Davis Winston, a devoted father to Catherine Winston, John Lee Winston, Francis Allen Winston, a proud grandfather to 12 grandchildren, and a loving great-grandfather to 13 great-grandchildren. He's got two up on him. Whereas Pat Winston's life is a testament to the power of ingenuity, perseverance, and community, his story from humble beginnings to remarkable success, and his return to the simple joys of family and local ventures embodies the spirit of resilience and innovation. Now, therefore, I, Guillermo Nurse, Mayor of Oxford, North Carolina, along with the Board of Commissioners, express respect and admiration for James Pratt Winston. We celebrate the life and contributions of this remarkable man, whose legacy will forever be part of the town's rich history. In witness thereof, I have hereto set my hand and placed the seal of the office to be affixed this 20th day of July 2024. It's signed there by the Mayor, and I want to congratulate you for being relative of such a great man. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please.
Well deserved. Well Give him the mic.
But I would like to say thank you very much. It's quite an honor. Thank you, Mayor, for doing this. He tried to do it earlier, and we had a funeral. It was super hot, and he said, we can do it here. So thank you very much for honoring him. We are honored that you thought enough to do that for him. He loved this community. He never did anything for recognition, but he sure loved every minute of it. So he would love to be here to hear this. Thank you very much.
Just push it in there, John.
Along with the delegations, the first presentation is going to be by Mr. Emiliano Danton, founder of the AA Corporation.
He's coming. He's coming.
Hello, how you guys doing today?
Fine.
My name is Emiliano Dunn. I'm a resident of Oxford. I'm currently a student at ECU. I'm studying for my bachelor's degree in information technology through industrial technology. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about a program we have for Oxford. And it's a community objective. It's a STEM program. And basically I want to start off with a little fact that a lot of people probably don't know. But the National Skills Coalition reports that middle-class skill jobs, which require STEM-related skills, but not a four-year degree, account for 52% of the North Carolina's labor market. Yet only 44% of the state workers are trained in middle-class skill level. And despite North Carolina's progress in the last decade, there's a critical need to expand high-quality STEM education programs, support educators in using 21st century instructional practices, and remove barriers of effective education. This will help ensure that our state's workforce matches the demands of the moment. If we could, in the introduction. Yep. So basically, a good breakdown is we seek to address the disparities and provide comprehensive STEM education and digital literacy programs to underserved communities of color, particularly in rural and low-income areas of North Carolina. By empowering these communities with skills necessary to succeed in modern workforce, we aim to close the achievement gap and increase sustainable economic opportunities. If you could go to the next slide, please. This is our vision statement. Our mission is to provide resources and training and support and foster personal and professional growth to create opportunities for advancement and inspire a culture of innovation and creativity. Our vision statement is to envision an inclusive and equitable society where every individual has access to the tools and opportunities needed to achieve their full potential. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of big data. We're living in the future, a lot of technology, and what we deal with now is we don't really have a lot of access to the program. So, like right now, prime example, we have kids that don't know how to write in cursive. They stopped teaching kids how to write in cursive, I want to say, in the late 2000s. But they didn't, and that was because we have a lot of computers going on right now, a lot of computer work, a lot of digital literacy. But instead, we didn't have a workaround, so they didn't teach people how to code computers and computer programming language in general. So now, we got a lot of youth that's hindered. And not only that, like a lot of our jobs are could possibly be lost because we have AI automation, but a lot of people don't know how to work on the automated devices. And I come from a family where we worked in my grandparents worked in the assembly lines, and stuff like that, and they actually witness automation come to the forefront of their jobs. So they actually had to learn how to work on these actual machines itself. If you could go to the next slide, please. If you guys want to know more about our programs initiative, we have the STEM program. With our STEM program, we want to provide boot camps as well as a workshop where we'll have licensed and accredited instructors come in to teach the youth as well as the participants, which are ages 16 to 35, basic digital literacy. And from there, we try to build upon more. We want to learn more about cybersecurity. We wanted to learn more about AI and as well as the onset of quantum engineering and more technological advancements as we come into it. We also have a creators program. With the creators program, I don't know if anybody has a TikTok or anything like that, or Snapchat or anything like that, but nowadays that's one of the best ways to get word of mouth out and everything like that. So we actually have training programs put together that will help train our participants on how to do successful podcasts, how to build a relationship, and also how to reach audiences. We also have a athletic initiative, and we have a lot of kids in the community that want to participate in AAU, and these AAU programs don't have anywhere to actually conduct their practices and stuff like that. So with our athletic initiative, we want to make it more accessible for these programs in order for them to have more places to build and grow and actually have support for our kids, especially in Oxford right now. If you could go to the next slide, please. Right now, we already developed key partners. We got partnerships with Adobe, Brilliant, TechSoup, Dell, Cisco, Microsoft, edX, Lenovo, Python, Cramden Institution, LinkedIn, and Coursera. With the help of Adobe and Dell, they provide us with software to teach the participants on digital literacy as far as creating AR artwork and creating all types of, flyers and stuff like that. When it comes to the Microsoft side of things, they provide us with hardware. TechSoup provides us with laptops and hotspots for a discounted price. So participants of the program that don't have internet access, that don't have laptops and anything like that, we will provide that for them. Also, when it comes to Cisco, we are dedicated. I actually had a meeting with Cisco today in order to bring a Net Academy to Oxford. And with the Net Academy, that would be a training program that could benefit us in training a lot of the participants to prepare them for jobs in cybersecurity and IT and computer science. Right now, the Achievement and Impact, we have 2 students that go to HBCUs. They're 3.5 GPA students. They were part of the program starting off. I have 1 student right now, he has a 3.9 GPA. He's in his sophomore year. The other 2 students, they're actually in their senior year, and they both are in STEM fields. We also have a horticulture project. With the horticulture project, we want to make sure we push to the forefront to get more representation when it comes to farming, and not only that, to actually teach us more learning about farming and how to go about creating our own. A lot of times I don't know if y'all watch the news, we got a lot of lab-grown meat and stuff like that. So we really want to try to focus on getting back to keeping everything organic. And not only that, we want to build in Oxford. So we secured 4.5 acres for the horticulture project. If you could go to the next slide, please. With the STEM program, can y'all see that? Or is it too small? Kind of sort of. Well, with the STEM program and everything, we have our objectives on the right side. If you could see it with the coding boot camps, the coding boot camps will feature 8-week coding sessions. And like I said, these will be instrumented by licensed and accredited professionals, educators. We do try to recruit educators that are of color. That way that they can have cultural resonance with the participants of the program themselves. And right now we're trying our best to use a curriculum that's mixed methodology, because right now with the ongoing acceleration of technology and everything, we have to find
new practices to keep up with the ongoing spread of the technology itself. You could go to the next slide, please. This right here is the horticulture project. And this is a basic overview, but it's going to feature 2 greenhouses and a dedicated STEM lab. In the STEM lab, students and participants can learn the basics of horticulture. They can learn the basics of the biology of plant life, as well as have a dedicated spot to really have hands-on experience. We're also going to offer workshops in this place as well. Could you go to the next slide, please? Then we have the V-Lab. The V-Lab is going to be part of our greenhouse and the horticulture project. Inside the V-Lab is where we're going to conduct most of our research and facilitate all the workshops as far as labs with growing on plant life and everything like that. And this also can help us train our participants for career readiness. And that's one of the things that I dealt with when I first went to college. I wanted to go to college for computer science. I didn't, but for engineering, I didn't have the resource that I needed in Oxford. And now I want to make sure I can provide those for other people. So instead of me going to school for computer science, for engineering, I'm going to school for computer science. And upon there, I changed my major like 2 times until I finally found myself in the IT field where I'm at today. So with a lot of us, we have kids and children that want to go to school and want to go to college. But a lot of times we got to pay out of pocket for college, and with those expenses, we don't want them to go to school and waste the first 2 years trying to figure out what they want to do. So if we can provide early career readiness programs, we can help prep them for the future. If you could go to the next slide, please. And this is data analysis. If you look at the first chart on the left side, that is from the years 2018 to the year 2030, and that's basically the need for computer literacy in the United States. So if you can look, as you can see, it's going up pretty fast, but by the year 2030, we're projecting 90% computer literacy. And I was watching the news, and we actually got to prepare for our money to be digitized. And when our money is digitized, we have a lot of people in our community that don't even know how to operate their cell phones. We don't really have a lot of programs in place that was going to actually help a lot of the older individuals be able to manage their money and everything. We still have people that come down to pay their water bill by hand, and in the future, we might be looking at doing that by app. And if we don't know how to even open the app, that's going to be a major problem. So we really got to focus on trying to bring up the community so that we're actually able to be digital literate, computer literate. At the top right corner, that is the occupations growth in the next 10 years. If you see right there on the left side, that's the STEM job. On the right side, that is all other occupations. STEM jobs are up 2 times compared to any other occupation right now. So it's very pertinent that we focus on trying to provide some type of resources and education for the young groups coming up, as well as the current adolescents. At the very bottom, that's representation in the STEM work field. The red represents white race, and then the green represents African Americans. The blue represents,
Hispanic.
The blue represents Hispanic, and then the yellow represents Asian, and the purple is in between. As you guys can see, it is grossly, there's gross disparities in this chart. So my main goal really is to try to bridge the gap as a community and just to bring STEM education to Oxford. It is like majorly needed right now. If you could go to the next slide, please. So this is the call to action right now. So with Cranby Institute, they give us laptops at a discounted price. So right now, my initiative is to serve 50 participants starting off. So far, I have 25, but we want to actually supply them with 100 laptops. We want to do 100 hotspots, like I mentioned earlier, for the people that are able to access the internet. Okay, and then also right now, we're actually searching for a building. possibly 1,000 to 2,000 square feet. Inside this building, we'll actually have the dedicated computer lab. We'll also have a podcast studio, and we'll operate on a block schedule. So with the 1,000 square feet, we're not going to have 50 people in there at one time. We'll rotate them in and out. And under that, we have the edX courses and license. So these are basically the training courses that we offer. And they're at a fee of, I want to say, 10,000. Yeah, the edX, the Coursera is 10,000. For the edX, it's going to be 40,000. But we do offer scholarships for the participants that's not able to afford certain things. And we also offer scholarships for CompTIA exams. So nowadays, with the world changing the way it is, a high school diploma is not enough. So we require certifications. With the programs that we're offering, we can offer certifications in these fields. So prime example, with Cisco certification, CCNA is much needed. We can provide the CCNA prior to the person even going to college. And that will open up a whole new revenue stream for them prior to even getting into their bachelor's degree. And really, we hope to, hope we will catapult and push us further in achieving this goal. If you could go to the next slide. You guys want to know how you guys can help. We will really, you can do financial support, donations, grants. Currently, we're with the National Science Foundation, and we're putting a grant proposal with them, and they're going to take care of most of our grant expense, most of our operational costs. So really, right now, if you guys would like to partner up as far as any educators that wanted to join, or if you have any participants that want to join the program, please let us know. I have my number at the top right side along with our email. And if you guys have any questions, y'all can let me know. And once again, like I said, my name is Leon Dunn, and this is the AA Corporation, and we are here to serve our community and try to bridge our gap. Definitely help us get to the next level, because right now everything is going digital. I also have QR codes with our contact information that we can hand out after the meeting if anybody's interested.
I think it's great.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emiliano. I'm quite sure we have some participants here that will love to converse with you at the end. I'm quite sure Bishop Batson, the superintendent of the high school, would like to have a little conversation with you.
Of course.
Yes, sir. It sounds like a wonderful program, and it certainly is something that can be beneficial to the community. I was just wondering, how much will you be partnering with the school system?
I reached out to the school system. I want to say like 2 months ago. I'm still waiting on a response, but I'm working diligently to build it, because I understand it does start from there. But I do believe that we need educators our age, because when our kids come ask us questions about, hey, how do we code this and how do we code that, and we don't have any answers for them. So I feel like as a group effort, not only our students but the parents as well, we need to be online. And I don't know if anybody had kids that were in school during COVID, but our teachers really weren't prepared at all for virtual learning and virtual teaching. And I feel like, it's pertinent that we actually try to bring everybody up to speed so that we have teachers as well as students on the same level.
I just want to make a comment. It's
Yes, sir.
not a question. I just think it's a great idea. I wish this was around when I was younger, because I'm one of those oldies that's technically challenged.
Yes, sir.
So I think it's a great idea, and the younger you can get these kids, the better it is for you and for the community.
I actually was talking to a 93-year-old woman today. Her name is Mrs. Burrow Ellis, and she was basically telling me, like, I just want to know, like, how could we go about helping the older people get on board too? Because like I said before, a lot of times they miss out because you don't know how to use computers and everything. So she suggested that we actually have put together, and I'll actually implement this to my plan as well. We put together a group that can go out and serve the elders and basically teach them, you know, spend an hour with them, and that's patient enough to show them how to operate computers and to stay online.
But wouldn't you agree that if this kind of program was part of the curriculum
Yes, sir.
of our school system, that would have a much greater impact on the community because it's part of what, you know, I have grandchildren in school now.
Yes, sir.
And it would be great if the schools, you know, started that as part of their curriculum.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
I know you're going to do as much as you can do,
Yes, sir.
and that's great. But wouldn't it be wonderful if our superintendent and others, you know, partnered in with getting this going?
Yes, sir. I believe it is a collective effort, and like I said before, like, you know, we got to try new practices in order to teach these kids because they learn totally different from the way we do. Like I said, nowadays, you want to learn something, they go on TikTok. But,
I would just like to commend you for having the initiative to implement this, having the love for your community to bring it back to Oxford and Granville County, because I know there are other areas that you could have gone to
yes, ma'am.
that would provide you with so much more access to things, but you chose to stay here. You saw the need to stay here, and I commend you.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Dunton, I would like to commend you as well. I know it takes a lot of energy to do what you're doing. You know, to take time out of your schedule and to care enough to want to take in not just kids into this program, but just our seniors that, you know, are unable to operate these electronics and stuff like that. So I really commend you for that. You know, there's even some special needs kids out there that they fight with trying to learn stuff like this, and this is where the world is going. And so to have more corporations or groups or organizations and grassroots and popping up in the communities to support and to provide this for people who are either especially need or challenged or just it's just ain't or even it's just not from their era. You know, I really commend you that because I know it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time.
Yeah, just outstanding job, Miliano. Keep the energy. You know, I know a lot of times that you may run across times that may not seem like you're making progress, but that's when you push even harder. You know, the program is phenomenal. Everything that you described, your description is eloquent. You know, so I commend you on that as well. So definitely keep the passion and just keep pushing forward. You know, and again, as everyone has said thus far, we highly commend you. Incredible and phenomenal job. Just keep it going. Yes, sir.
Let's have a quick question for you. In terms of your horticulture program, have you had any contact with the extension office here in Granville County?
I know, sir. Only as far as with the horticulture, I reached out to USDA because I know they provide a lot of grants.
Would it be okay if I connected you with our extension director?
Yes, sir. That's cool.
Okay. They have connections to USDA grants and potential services that you might be able to team up with that might be of joint interest. So I'll be happy to pass your information over to the extension.
And possibly land.
Yeah,
That could be
I
used.
just want to make sure that was okay with you before I did it.
Great job.
I had one thing. So we had someone in here recently talking about offering programs in space for programs at the Masonic Home. I didn't know if that was to be an option.
Yeah.
She said they had. Have you talked to them?
Oh, I emailed Courtney Phillips.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And one more thing, go Pirates.
No problem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dunn.
Thanks, Miliano.
At this time, I felt the necessity, we felt the necessity with school opening, and I came across, I had a function at the convocation the superintendents and his team did in Granville Central, and I came across Mr. Keith King. He's director of security and police for the school system, so we invited him to come up and give a little presentation and tell us about safety and education dealing with the school and the challenges he has to deal with.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, staff, and those in attendance. My name is Stan Winborn, and I'm the proud superintendent of Granville County Public Schools. I'll be very brief and turn the podium over to Mr. King in just a moment. But today was our first day of school, and we had a great start. I would like to put a plea out there, though. If anyone wants to drive a school bus, let me know. We're still in need of a couple of drivers, so we're a little short. But other than that, it was a wonderful day today. Everything went very smoothly, and I appreciate all of your support. If you all recall, I was fortunate enough to come share a presentation with you last year regarding some of my priorities for the school district. And the number one priority is keeping our children and our staff safe. That is above all else. Academics is our mission, but safety is our duty, which is a phrase that this man shared with me. Mr. Keith King is a retired chief of police from the Creedmoor Police Department, and he has joined Granville County Public Schools full-time as our safety officer for the school district. And he coordinates all of our efforts with law enforcement and provides training for all of our staff. And tonight he's just going to share a couple of the things that we're working on in our school district to keep our kids and our people safe. So, Mr. King.
Thank you.
So after the last young man's presentation, if that's his first presentation, that's a bright future in front of him. I've done many of these in different avenues of being a police chief and many other things, but that was very cool. Very cool. Thank you, sir. Very cool. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the invitation. Board members, thank you for allowing us to speak with you and Mr. Manager. When the mayor asked me, he said, could you come in and speak about safety to the board? That's a broad topic. Safety is a every minute, every day effort by everyone within our school team and with our school family. So what I thought I would share with you is our latest and largest initiatives and achievements. And that starts off with, next slide, with the SRP. A little bit about SRP is the Standard Response Plan. And a little about the history to know the importance of this program. In the first slide, there was a small emblem in the right-hand corner that said, I love you guys. This is a nonprofit, national nonprofit organization that was started by a family of a young girl who was killed in Strongman Douglas in one of the Florida active assailants or shootings. And that was the actual last text that she sent her parents. I love you guys. And those parents got together and they said, we can do better. And we all need to be on the same sheet of music. And what they came up with was a standard response protocol that puts us all on the same pages. And when I say all, it's our school family, it's our public safety officers, our police officers, our emergency responders, our elected officials, our news media, to know when something happens and when they hear these standardized terms, they know what needs to be the proper response for that. The first time I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Winborn was, I think it was about 9 years ago, 8 to 9 years ago. And that's when he formed the safety task force for this district as the assistant superintendent. And we were fighting the efforts of old habits. And we all know, if you've been in public office and public service, old habits die hard. And we had this non-standard, non-uniform language of code reds, code blues, hard lockdowns, soft lockdowns. Administrators, teachers, children's, community members, they were all confused. If an emergency happens, that is the last time that you want to be confused. So SRP offers 5 standard announcements or protocols and specific initiatives and efforts that have to happen for it to be efficient and keep our kids as safe as possible. And a lot of them are old hat for us. We were all in school and we knew how to evacuate. We knew when we had a fire drill, we got out. We knew when we had a tornado drill or a tornado warning, we sheltered. We all understand what a lockdown is. Unfortunately, everybody knows what a lockdown is in this day and time, and that's very unfortunate. But what they gave us was 2 other tools, and I'll briefly talk about those, and that's a hold and a secure. And what a hold is, it simply allows the principal and administrative staff of that school to put everything on pause. Should we have a medical emergency in the hallway? Should we have a fight in the hallway? Or unfortunately, when we have to send canines into the school to do a drug sweep. But that allows that school to pause and everything to happen safely. With bells ringing, we just ignore them and we take care of the initiative that we have to take care of. And the second one, which Chief Ford has already, and Captain Pearl has already used this one for us and protected Webb because we had a crime scene or a crime event that was moving towards Webb. And they actually called it secure, and that allowed us to secure the outer perimeter of the campus, and the school could continue on the inside. That made sure that no assailants from an ongoing criminal activity got inside of our school. So we've already started using this. This language was adopted by the board, I believe, in the May meeting of this year. We got it out to the police departments. They embraced it, the sheriff's departments and our emergency responders, and so far so good. It's a great initiative. Our teachers, our principals are already going, thank you. I now can look at this. It's on the back of my door. I've heard it. They've had training on it. And it gives them a uniform language and a uniform plan to act efficiently in the face of chaos. So that was the first thing I wanted to share with you was the SRP that was adopted by the board. And then the next slide I believe we have here is the most recent thing is what we call the Rave Panic Button. This was provided by the state. It is free to public education. This panic button is an app, some of the technology this young man talked about earlier, and it's now in the hands of every one of our teachers and every one of our administrators. And what it does, it gives them immediate access to Granville County 911 if they need some type of an emergency assistance. And you can see exactly what they can activate. It immediately goes to the 911 center. They know immediately what is needed. And if we go to the next slide here, this is an example. This was Dr. Winborn had almost sent me home this day. Not really, but we had an accidental activation during a training. But if you will notice, the staff member pressed the button for active assailant, and as you can see, it geofenced and dropped a pin exactly where that staff member was within Granville Central High School, within 15 feet of where we were standing when this went off. And that is what our 911 center sees, and that's directly communicated back to law enforcement, so they know they're going to Granville Central, they know they're going in the front quarter of the building, they know the staff member that actually activated and can talk live with them on the Rave app, and to make sure that first responders don't get third-hand information, they're getting information directly from the source who has eyes on the threat or eyes on the medical emergency that they need help from. So I believe that was the last slide that we had there. Those are the big technological efforts that we've been pushing this year. I've got to just commend my boss because when I first started working with him on the safety task force in 2015, I believe it was, I think we had 6 SROs covering 16 campuses, and I believe I think we're at 11 now covering 16 campuses. We do still have some shared efforts between elementary schools and middle schools, but our high schools have dedicated, most of our middle schools have dedicated SROs. Some of our elementary schools are still sharing some of those duties. And I know Chief and I talked today, we would love to have Oxford back on board at cradle that presence of Oxford PD serving and protecting and building relationships with Oxford children. It's critical. And when I was chief, I said, the earlier you can get in front of a young man or woman or young girl or boy, and as often as you can, you build trust and confidence. So later in life, they're not scared to approach you. Later in life, they give you good information and you can lend good information back to them. But we understand, I'm not far enough removed to not understand how difficult recruitment and retention is in law enforcement these days. So that's an ongoing initiative by the superintendent, along with grant funding through the state, is to continue to expand our SRO program so every school has a dedicated SRO. With that, that's what I have for tonight. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay. So, is part of I just have some horrific memories of seeing on television shootings at schools, and the fact that there was one shooter that shot through the glass of a front door and was able to walk right into the school and start killing kids. My question is, as part of what you try to do in safety is to fortify the schools a little more, because as I think of the kids who are just trying to learn there, I'm wondering, is there a place they can go where that shooter can't get to them?
Unfortunately, there's not a vault that
I understand.
absolutely makes them 100% safe. But I can tell you through our safety initiatives, our principals are required to do safety walkthroughs. Our SROs do safety walkthroughs, and I do safety walkthroughs to see where we're vulnerable. But at the same time, when we do lockdown drills and safety training for our principals and our teachers and our students, we always tell them, if something happened right now, where are you going? Well, that's great. That's great to know that when you're in your room. I said, but wait a minute, what if you're in the cafeteria? I want you always thinking within 50 feet of you, where is the most secure area to go? And teachers and cafeteria staff and our students are now thinking about that. So yeah, absolutely. We're always trying to point out where the most fortified spot you can go. We would love to make our schools even safer every day. But we fight that same thing you fight, and that's funding.
Commissioner Toby.
I think I suppose this works on the GPS.
Yes, sir.
What would happen if the Wi-Fi was lost in the school?
Works on cell and GPS.
It works on the cell tower as well. I know firsthand how confusing it can be when you have an incident and you've got all aspects, fire, police and ambulance all coming in around, no one knows where it is. So that is absolutely marvellous to know exactly where the incident is, instead of everybody running around like a chicken, looking for something.
And that first-hand account from that person who has eyes on the threat or eyes on the injury is amazing.
So as long as there's
absolutely. It was Norman Granville, I believe. We had a medical emergency today at Norman Granville Middle School. Teacher had an asthma attack, and I think it was moderate to severe. Somebody called 911, but the SRO got to the teacher first and activated it, and we got live updates throughout there. EMS is en route, EMS is on scene, and finally, the situation's resolved real time.
That was my only concern, is if you would lose the signal. But it's great. So that it's on the side.
I heard you mention the teachers and administrative staff and all, but I'm going to dietary. But I'm going even further about your housekeepers, the janitors,
Custodian staff.
the custodians. Yeah, are they trained also and equipped also?
Absolutely. Every staff member within our school has access to this RAVE app, and we've trained them on it. And I give kudos to our custodian staff every time that we do a training, because a lot of times they're our best eyes and ears.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
They see and
They
hear
out there.
everything, and sometimes they're not as much noticed. And that's actually a good thing.
Yes.
They see and hear more than the average teacher, principal, or especially one of us walking through from central office. Thank you.
Now, is this an app that even the students could download if they wanted to?
No, sir, that could cause chaos.
Yes.
But it is given to every teacher, teacher's assistant, cafeteria staff, custodian staff, anybody of adult age on the payroll for Brown County Public Schools has that.
And I guess I know when it came to active shooters, a lot of time what was the concerns, whether it was shared through the media, etc., was always on how difficult it was for teachers to be able to barricade themselves and the students in the classes. They showed examples of where some teachers figured out how to use a chair to avoid a door handle being turned. Another teacher figured out a way to use a belt for the adjustment at the top of the door. Is there any plans within the school system where y'all implement a latch system or something like that on the doorway for emergencies?
So the great thing about Granville County Public Schools and superintendent's effort here is our classroom doors are mandated locked all day. Once class takes in, they're required to have their door locks. One of the things from the Sandy Hook Commission is they looked at all active assailants where we had active shooters in schools, and they said there's not one proven time, according to the Sandy Hook Commission, that the active assailant forced a locked door. Because their goal is to create mass casualty. So they're not going to waste the time there, they're going to move on.
Yeah.
So that's something that we have preached and preached and preached with our teachers. Doors are locked all day long. But one other fight with that is when you start getting into some of these commercial contraptions that you can't put on those doors, the fire marshal will not allow it. There are great marketing tools out there to promote these things. And a parent, when I was chief of police in Creedmoor, I would get no less than 6 a year. Hey, can we put this in our school? And I'm like, we have to ask the fire marshal. And 9.5 out of 10 times, it's like, no, sir. Because you can't slow down egress.
And I know that there was even talks, I don't know if it was a national thing or it was in this state, but I know that there was talks of training teachers with firearms.
There's been a national talk about it, but there's both sides of the fence on that. Are you helping or are you hurting? And there's no clear data
Right.
of what the answer is.
Right.
Commissioner McCray?
Yeah. Mr. King, Dr. Winborn, first, thank you guys, no, both of you guys for giving this. As a father of 2 educators, both my daughters are teachers, and having a grandson that attends school, I of course my ears perk when I hear stuff like this. So again, thank you for this, and thank you for allowing it. You mentioned funding. Of course, that seems to be a worldwide, nationwide thing. So yeah. So I'm asking, and I've just started looking because I was looking for something specifically for this area. I ran across the Green Lights Initiative. Are you guys familiar with that? It's a okay. I would love to share some of that information because actually it helps where you can produce grants for, and it's specifically for the school system, for assuring our safety and everything. So I would love at some point to share that information with you all. Is it me? Oh, okay. With you all, but I think that would assist in some of the funding possibilities. But but again, thank you. Anything any and everything that we can do to protect our our greatest assets, our children, I think we should explore. But like I said, again, if given the opportunity, I would definitely like to share that with you guys at some point.
Very much appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Always eager to explore grant opportunities.
Yeah, they're pretty effective as well.
Commissioner Bridges.
Commissioner Bell asked about.
Commissioner Bridges.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You mentioned about students being able to share information. We actually have another portal, app, and phone number called See Something, Say Something. And anyone, including students, at any time can use that system and report concerns. And we, the primary administrators in the school district, receive, those are filtered, and then those are distributed to us in real time if there are threats.
And I'm glad that you guys got something like that because the thing that stops a lot of students from reporting incidents is because they don't want to be the student that's seen going into the office. So when they have a way to report an incident without having to go anywhere, then that makes a difference. Yes.
Yes, sir. Sorry for that. I want to make sure.
Commissioner Bridges.
Yeah, this really touches close to home. But I don't know if it was in Florida or Texas. I was trying to try to remember where law enforcement waited over 40 minutes. Texas, okay. 40 minutes while gunfire was going on. This guy is in a room mowing down children, and police officers are hanging out in the hallway or outside and not going in. Now, I guess my question is for the police chief too. Is there training so that if something like this happens, we don't have folks on radios talking to each other and not going in there and stopping that gunfire?
Yes, sir. Is active assault training.
Okay. So our law enforcement officers train at the schools about where they need to go, what they need to do if there's an active shooter in one of our schools. All right. Because, I still don't understand how those men in uniform waited 40-some minutes while all those children were being killed to go in and stop this man or the shooter.
Commissioner Bridges, if I may,
Sure,
I
go
don't want to anger you further, but it was 77 minutes. So. if
Why'd you
wanna
do
talk-
that? Why'd you do that?
Because I can tell you that as a former law enforcement officer, my blood boils on that one. Personal privilege here, I can speak for that young lady right there and the professionalism of the law enforcement officers in this county. And I don't believe you have that character in one within your county. I know the men and women that serve. I've served beside them in this county, and I believe that if they had to, they would have put their car through the door to get in there. So I will say that. And on top of that, talking with SRO Day and Chief Newman, I know that over the last 3 weeks, not this week, but over the last 3 weeks, all SROs had, all of Granville County Sheriff's Office SROs had refresher training on active assailant or active shooter training. And as I know it, the entire Sheriff's Office staff had a refresher on active shooter training. This just recently.
That was held at the old GC Hall campus using simulated munitions.
As real as you can make it.
Mr. Wilburn, I would like for you to take back to your staff from top to bottom my appreciation for them willing to be instructors in our school. Not only are they faced with financial deficit of not having enough money to get everything that they need, not only are they faced with the challenges that our children bring to school, but to be coupled with all of this training of protection and having to always be aware with that what if. I really, really commend them because I'm sitting here as a great grandmother and my granddaughter's, she thinks she's grown because she's going to big girl school. It is absolutely frightening to think about what our children face every day. I commend them.
Thank you, Commissioner Fields. I appreciate you recognizing that. We have some amazing
Yes.
educators in our schools. He's certainly very dedicated.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wimborne. And Chief, once the
Thank
chief,
you.
always the chief.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And moving along, as we try to implement here on this board, we try to be very inclusive with everyone. And with that, I'm gonna call the representantes from the Centro Hispano. They're gonna do a presentation. As we know, there's a large Hispanic population in our county and in North Carolina. So thank you very much, Olivia.
Thank you. Buenas noches. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to commissioners and Mr. Manager and Attorney. Thank you, Major. My name is Emilia Ismael, and I am the Development and Strategic Partnerships Director of El Centro Hispano. I am joined by my colleague Mauricio Solano, who is the Director of Operations. Also on behalf of our President and CEO, thank you for this space. She apologizes she can't be here, but due to an urgent family matter, she had to travel out of the country this week. I want to share a little bit about our work. El Centro Hispano is a nonprofit organization that has been working on behalf of the Hispanic community since 1992. We are the longest serving Latino-led Latino serving organization in North Carolina. And the The core of our operations have been in the Triangle. We have offices in Durham, Wake, and Orange County, but now we reach up to 21 counties in around the Triangle. Next slide, please. This is a little bit of our history. As I said, we were founded in 1992 in the basement of a church in Durham. You can see reflected there when some of our programs open. I will highlight when we opened our office in Scarborough in 2010, our House of Casa de Empleo y Liderazgo, a house for employment and leadership in the Scarborough office in 2015, and then our office in Raleigh in 2020, just as the pandemic was starting in March 2020. And most recently, our administrative offices in also in Durham just last year in 2023. Next. Our vision is the Hispanic, Latina, Latinx community, strengthening and advancing people in North Carolina and beyond. And I really want to make a point in this. Although we started as a Latino serving organizations, our services are open to everyone in the community. I can tell you a number of programs where we actually have a more serve more diverse clients than just the Hispanic community. In tax season, most of the people that come looking for support from our VITA program are from many other communities. So I really want to emphasize that yes, we are Latinos leading the organization. We have an affinity with the Hispanic community to serve, but our services are open to everyone. Next slide, please. Our mission is to strengthen the community, build bridges, and advocate for equity and inclusion. Next, thank you. Our values are flexibility and adapting to change, vocation to service, teamwork, respect, leadership, and equity. And I want to emphasize that equity is at the heart of our mission. We strive to dismantle systemic, institutional, and historical barriers so they no longer determine the population's socioeconomic, education, health opportunities, and status, nor they should determine the individual's right to be. In that regard, we not only have a direct service and a broad scope of programs, but we also have an advocacy agenda. We try to be present and have the community be represented in decision-making tables. We visit the legislature in North Carolina to talk to representatives, to the legislators, just inform and educate them, let them know about what's going on with the communities that we serve. Next slide. Our work has, we have 4 focus areas: health and well-being, community participation, education, and economic development. That basically comes from our model of working through the social drivers of health, or social determinants of health, as it used to be called, because very central to our work is the community health model. You might be aware community health workers are leaders embedded in the community who connect people with resources. They have, they train and they develop a wealth of knowledge about resources and help the community make connections to services they might need. A big part of our workforce are community health workers who are trained and certified by the state of North Carolina. Next, please. These 4 focus areas are reflected in 5 departments: the Community Support Department, Community Health, Economic Development, Education, and Civic and Community Participation. Next one. I'm not going to try to describe all the programs that we offer in each of the departments. I do have some folders that I can leave for you to go through. And of course, there is also access to our webpage. We have a large scope of programs. I'm going to try to summarize. Civic and community participation, there are department. The main goal is to build capacity in the community, in individuals, but also in the organizations that serve the community, so that they can advocate, respond, and address the issues that affect the lives of Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, assuring representation and inclusion in, as I was saying, decision-making processes. The Civic and Community Participation Department mainly works through community-based support groups. We have a youth leadership program that attends to youth ages 12 through college, through different support groups. We have an LGBTQ plus program, also with different support groups. We have the Pathway to Citizenship program, which offers the preparation course for the naturalization process with USCIS. We have a participation lab where we have initiatives that we are trying with the community. We have a women's group, seniors and caregivers group. So there is several different initiatives there. Next. In our education program, the main goal is to expand educational opportunities and spaces for intellectual growth and personal development from childhood to adulthood. There you will find programs from tutoring, K through 12, also ESL, HiSET, and the equivalent of getting their high school diploma in Spanish through the Mexican government. That's Plaza Comunitaria. We also have a program for parents to learn about the school system so they can do better when they interact with the school system. They're not here yet. When they can, where they interact with the school system, because sometimes kids are not doing well and the parents don't know how to interact with schools, how to talk to the teacher, or they don't know that they need to pick up the phone when they call. So we have programs to support that. I mentioned English as a second language, digital literacy as well. We recognize very much the need in the community for that. We also have story time programs, summer programs, and we have the Spanish Language Institute as well for people who wish to learn Spanish. We have that program. Next. Our community health department main goal is to expand the capacity of the community to address their needs or meet their desired goals and improve health outcomes. It mainly has a preventive health programs. So we do a lot of referrals to low-cost healthcare, a lot of education, information about prevention of different health issues. Could be sexually transmitted disease, prevention of alcohol and drug use. We have been doing a lot of COVID-19 work as well. We encourage research inclusion through the All of Us program, the inclusion of Hispanic Latinos in research and medical research, because there's the need of having more information about in clinical trials, for instance, about communities of color. We also have the Community Health Workers Academy, which provides year-round training for community health workers. We have the health window in the Mexican consulate. We also travel with the Mexican consulate when they do their mobile consulate. We have our mobile health unit, which we are planning this year to bring here. That mobile health unit comes with most of our resources and travels around to other counties. We also have programs on health, nutrition, and physical activity. We have the Medicaid Diabetes Prevention Program, otherwise known as the MDPP. A lot of work on cardiovascular health and also connections to mental health. Excellent. Our community support department is really one that differentiates us from other organizations. These are our walking offices. It is important. We are every day out there in the field with the community health workers, but it's also important that the community knows that there is a space where they can come when they need something, and that's where our walking offices are. As I mentioned, right now we have one in Carver, one in Raleigh, and one in Durham. This department provides information and referrals in general, might be to direct services within our own organization or to other agencies if the person is needing something that we don't have. For instance, we don't have like immigration lawyers in the house. We have to refer them. So we have a legal clinic program that allows us to refer to low cost legal assistance. It could also be connecting the community to like direct relief support, like paying bills, utilities. They may be struggling 1 month and they need support. So we can support with some of that. And we also can connect them, for instance, to interpretation, translation, or notarization. Even something as simple as not understanding something that they got in the mail and they need help somebody reading and going through it and maybe helping them filling it out. Next one. The Economic Development Department has 4 programs. I have mentioned the Casa for Employment and Leadership. That is similar to a workers hub that opened in 2015 with the help of the town of Scarborough. And that facilitates relationships with employers and daily laborers that help a lot in taking care of a whole complex of issues that happens when there are workers standing in a corner and contractors coming by and picking them up for the day. And there's a whole complexities that go around there. So a workers hub of this type has been very, very beneficial. We have how many employers in the hub? Employers registered in that hub. And employees? He has the numbers very clear. Then we have the Triangle Business Network that provides support to entrepreneurs, guiding them in how to start a business. In North Carolina, we also provide financial clinics, either for businesses or for individuals. Something as basic as how do you keep a budget? How you can use a spreadsheet to take care of your finances, among other things. And we do have a program for businesses, small business memberships, and try to connect them to resources in the area to develop and ultimately improve their income. Next. As I said, we are now serving up to 21 counties, mainly in the Piedmont and coastal area, not with all of our programs, but with several of our programs, a lot traveling with the mobile health unit or with our community ID programs, also with our education program. So there is different ways in which we touch other counties. Next, thank you. Just to give you an idea, we have during the pandemic, we visited Oxford frequently, bringing resources like masks and education about COVID-19. So we have work doing outreach with community health workers, also working, bringing information about substance abuse, prevention of STDs. We have come with the health window to provide, just connect people with resources and references. And we have hosted a couple of health fairs. For this year, we are planning on doing a mobile health unit event, and also doing one of our MDPP, the Medicare Diabetes Prevention Program in the area. This is some of our impact from fiscal year 22-23. It's in the starting the new fiscal year, so we're still don't have our images from the last fiscal year, but this gives you an idea of the reach and the impact that we have. on year 22-23, we reached over 230,000 people in the year. And just this year alone, from some of the numbers that are already that we're already processing, we have more than 70,000 community activities in the year. And I think that is it for now. So gracias. Yes.
Would you say that the Latino population is growing in Granville County or in the Triangle area?
In general, there is a growth in the whole state of the Latino community. Right now, we're about, from the last census information, we're 11% of the population, but it is expected that in a decade, we're going to reach the same national numbers of around 19 to 20%.
You were talking earlier about the education, the technology. I think you should get with Mr. Dutton over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's the guy to see about that. So I think you two should get together. Thank you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We recently, as other 62 organizations in the state, we got support for digital literacy from the North Carolina Department of Information Technology to expand our digital literacy offering in Spanish. So that is very important to be coordinated, of course.
Commissioner Bridges.
Yes, one of the things that I recognize since I work in the court system is that there is generally a language barrier with individuals who may be charged with crimes. I'm not talking about immigration or anything like that. I'm just saying, just in general, crime. And I know that we have interpreters that show up at court every once in a while when they're called upon, but there are many times defendants who cannot communicate, have language barriers, come into our court system and are not in a position to, they're not in a position to help themselves, so to speak. The judge is saying something to them and they're just sort of looking around, And I just wondered if your organization also help with individuals that may get traffic charges or other kind of criminal trouble.
In regards to interpretation, we recognize that as an issue. We don't have the capacity to provide that. We recognize the need. We have started training some of our own staff in interpretation. Those cases are very specialized because it's a specific. You have to be certified for that. But we recognize the need. The support that we can provide is really referring them to, as I said, through our legal clinic, to lawyers and to low cost or pro bono sometimes lawyers. So that we can do. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a time we were, for instance, in conversations with Durham and with the sheriff of Durham about maybe it hasn't developed, but it was there just because of recognizing the same issues of how we could maybe connect more directly so that people who were in the system could reach out to us and access, because once they're in there, they're just in there, and how they can. So we had talked about that. We haven't yet gotten to a serious place, but yeah.
Mr. Commissioner Velez.
Buenas noches, bienvenido.
Gracias.
I heard you say about the language speaking classes for people who would like to learn Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that something that y'all offer in person, or is it something that you offer online?
It's hybrid. We can work hybrid. That
Hybrid.
means that we can design a course. It depends on the situations. Like we can have online classes or we can have in-person classes. And when I say design, is because sometimes we get requests, let's say from an agency or a business company that would like to have a course for their staff, for instance. And that's why I was saying design, because sometimes they have a request and they might say, this is the kind of, just to give you an example, we can be with a company that does, I don't know, that they build tools, yes, and they want something for their staff, and they want the classes to be more specific about certain terminology.
Okay.
So we can work with that and sort of adapt the curriculum a little bit to the needs. And that's also when deciding whether doing an in-person or online can happen. We can also offer online because, as I said, we can touch many counties, and sometimes we have people enrolling in courses, that are far away, that it wouldn't be feasible for them to travel all the way to Durham, let's say, to take the course. Yeah.
The reason I was asking was because currently the Granville County school system has started something recently. I want to say this might be the third year. They started a duolingual class within the elementary school because they come to find out that it's more effective when you teach kids another language when they're young. And so in my personal situation, I'm bilingual. My wife is not, but my son is in the Duolingo class, and he's on his first. He done did the kindergarten in first grade, and he's learning the Spanish, but Mama is being left behind. So I've been pushing her to learn some as he learns, and so it's not just her in this class. I've seen kids who are not Hispanic in this class, from the community, whether from the African American or the white community, or even Asian community that's in this Duolingo Hispanic class. And the reason I was asking is because that would be a good resource to maybe offer it to the parents of these kids, because their kids are learning this Spanish, but some of them come from households that don't speak Spanish. So
No, that's a fantastic idea for sure. Yes, and I would also say that the courses in Spanish that we offer, our teachers are very dedicated. So it's not just your, like grammar and stuff, but also like kind of understanding the culture and the use of it. And I think one teacher even takes them out to dinner, like to go to a restaurant and order in Spanish, and like they're very, so yeah, that's one of our we are always looking to innovate and meet the community where they are. So if there are needs, for instance, like if you're seeing that because of the process of the curriculum and there's a need for parents, that's what we do. We work with what is needed, and we will design what the community needs and offer that.
So if you got something that I can pass on to the principal, that the principal could pass on to the parents of these students, so then they can look you guys up and maybe follow through with these resources, I would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mayor, thank you very much for.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're moving to the public comment sections. Citizens may speak on the agenda as well as non-agenda item at this time. Citizens wishing to address the board must sign in, which you did, located the city clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. And when recognized by the mayor, come forward to the podium. So our first call is going to be from Mr. Eddie Reed from 230 Lanier.
First of all, I'd like to say greetings, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, and to all
Good evening.
Good evening.
the commissioners. I'm up here for myself and all of the residents in the community of 230 Lanier Street, Taylor Street, Rectory Street, and New Cottage Street. We are concerned about the speeders that's in the neighborhood. You have children, you got old people, and people walk their pet. I'm scared to back out of my driveway. If you go, people, we have reported this before to the police. And you think it's 85 down there. And not only am I concerned, but these are the people that are concerned in the neighborhood. Because it's dangerous. We're afraid somebody may get killed. And we would like and we would appreciate if the city, if the manager and the commissioners would take this in consideration to put speed bumps in the neighborhood.
Commissioner Toby.
Is this happening on a daily basis?
It's
Every day.
Any particular time of the day?
All day.
All day?
Jack, I know you, Mr. Reed.
Yes.
This is not the first time this was brought to our attention. I think with our predecessor, our previous city manager, Mary Ann, her mother, her brother, and her sister all brought it to our attention. I think it was last year, and I brought it to our city manager's attention. The chief of police backed me up with people making a shortcut through that street, and it's a straight shot. And it is a speedway.
It is.
And as you stated, it's narrow. At this time of the year, it's congested because of the schools, and something needs to be done.
Yes.
I have been down there, spoke to Mr. Reed, and I said the speeding going down that street, and I'm quite sure Chief is aware of it, and we need to do something. That's not just the only street, but it's a straight
that
shot
one-
coming down there, and I have witnessed firsthand the speed. People speeding down that street, so I think we should take a look at it and
Act on it.
act on it. Can't just keep pushing it off.
Mr. Reed, I understand your frustration because one of the first places that I rented was 314 Lanier Street. And when I lived on Lanier Street, people coming down from the top of that hill or trying to make it to the top of that hill, it looked like NASCAR through there. Yeah, so I know exactly. And sometimes you got people coming down Lee Street, coming straight towards 314 where I lived at, and they barely want to stop at that stop sign. So I understand, you get a lot of the younger generation, they trying to come through there. They ain't trying to go through downtown and take that L shape, so they come through the back road and come down through there. So I'm definitely am with you. I would definitely be involved in this discussion.
He live on Taylor Street, and he could tell you about how the people come down there the wrong way all the time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adonis Jones. I live at 414 Taylor Street. It's the last house on the right. My neighbor, he lives directly across from me. I think his dog was killed about 2-3 weeks ago by somebody coming in the street backwards. His dog was trying to follow him across the property, and he hit his dog at the edge of the property. But you all explained it well. It's a drag strip. And I know I've seen buses. I work from home, so I'm fortunate enough I get to get up and sit on my porch for an hour or so every morning and then go to work in my pajamas. But I've seen buses being ran off the road. I've seen kids walking in the grass because at one time, before the utilities, which I'm very thankful for, the plumbing work that was done on Taylor Street, there was a pedestrian way for the students to walk back and forth on the right side of the road. It's a white painted line. That's no longer there. And so they're dodging cars coming in the street. And if you've never experienced that street, I would say, and I've heard it brought up, is to just, with probably the police, take the shortcut way that the individuals are taking, and you'll see and experience how dangerous it is. It will literally scare you because it's a blind spot coming off Taylor Street to Forest Street, and they're driving so fast when they're slamming on their brakes to make the turn to Forest Street to go back down the near street, that they're sliding almost into my home, into a home that's vacant, and I believe that address is 514 Forest Street. And so anything you guys can do to help us to keep them from coming in the wrong way and also speeding down the street, because it's a one-way. And I think they're speeding because they can see all the way down the street and they can see that there's not a police present. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
I can't call his real name.
Call up next, Mr. Eddie McCoy from 469 Kingsbury Street.
Good afternoon. I'm Eddie McCoy, 408 Kingsbury Street. I'd like to talk about a couple of things I've been talking about for a long time. And, I don't like to talk with my back to the audience, because that's why I come. Not to talk to you because you're not going to do anything I say. You just listen to me say, that's the same old guy. He always rather there and not pay no attention what he's saying. So I like to talk to the audience. It kind of makes sense. I want to talk about, that's right, trash can. If you notice that this makes sense what I'm saying, but not to those guys. If you go with these conditions, they'll go on the streets. They'll hear West Street in Jackson, whereas Cheatham Street, they tell you they don't even know. They ain't never heard of it before. But I'm just saying, you follow what I'm saying? Okay, number one, we're going to talk about rental houses. My mother and father, we have a house on Henderson Street. When you have rental property, the people that rent the property don't know the trash cans go in the back. It's kind of hard for them to realize that. If my sister and my brother put their trash can in the back, the guy on the other side put their trash cans in the back of their house. And the people across the street put theirs in the back. But they leave theirs on the street. Did you know most of the people that rent leave their trash cans on the street because they're too lazy to put them in the back and put them out? They put the trash in when they go and come back. You understand what I'm saying? That's not fair. And really, if they pay taxes, they can put it in the back. But they don't pay taxes, so they're not going to put their trash cans in the back. I've been coming here for about 100 years telling them Raleigh Street is the worst street in Oxford. If you go down, it's like dodgeball. You dodge everything. If you go down there at night, nobody here will go there at night because they don't live in that area. So hell with them people on that street. They got 5 trucks loads of furniture sitting on the street. They got the tree that came down last week or last year still on the street. They got trash cans, you play dodgeball all the time, up and down that street. It's terrible. But, we need to get trash cans to the back. We have a city employee, I guess he's still here, Kenny. He owns property all over town. And half his people don't put their trash cans in the back of it. Don't put their trash cans in the back. It's not fair. They have some on the law that don't put their trash cans in the back. I told them all you got to do is to cut the water off. All around property that don't do what I say. Just cut the water off. That's all you got to do is cut the water off. And they'll come down here and they'll do what you say. We have Mr. Mayor and the city manager. There's a street called Cheatham Street. Call all your city commission you go to and find out where it is, and please put a sign up there correct where it spells out where you know you're on Cheatham Street. Please do that tomorrow. Don't put the sign up. I know you gotta have a reposition. It'll take 6 months to get the sign printed and put up. But go find out where Cheatham Street is. And tell the board member, text them whatever, and let them know there's Cheatham Street and it needs a correct sign that let you know where that street is. See, those people live on that street, they don't know you can get a new sign. They don't know it. They do not know that. Now, let's talk about Williamsburg Street. All these streets, yes.
I'm gonna allow you 2 more minutes.
Them people
We
have
went over your time
hours,
already.
hours.
Thank you.
I know they're doing a roundabout, and I hope that we can get something done by the summer on these streets in the Ox, by the summer, please, because the winter's coming, and it's not gonna get any better. And if we can go around and harass other developers about what they can do, what they can't do, why can't we can harass whoever gonna take care of paving these streets? Why don't we harass those people too and get those streets in a better condition what they are? And
We've added paving them streets. Commissioner Velez is bringing the board to that. So. Thank you.
Thank
you. Mr. Tim. I didn't want to say your name wrong, Tim. I'm sorry.
What is it?
201 Grace Street.
Yeah, kind of a simple question. I've called probably half the people on this commission, left the messages. I'm trying to find out if the Armory building in Oxford is available to rent or purchase. Simple question. And I haven't been able to get that information from anybody. So it's not. Okay, well, that's all we're going to pursue some. Okay.
You are pursuing a workshop idea, right? Is that correct?
Well, it's a non-profit thing.
It's a non-profit workshop
Yes.
idea. I've seen the ads on social media page. I love it. I think it's a great idea. And I hope it gets off the ground.
I'll just take it off. I'll just take that building off the list. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bridges.
Yeah. Just want to, there were a number of people that came up. And of course, I've probably had questions or comments. I don't believe Mr. McCoy has been coming here for 100 years, but he has been coming here a while. But, when it comes to things like speeding on streets, to me, and I don't, police chief was here.
She here.
Oh, okay. It seems to me that the biggest deterrent to speeders is law enforcement presence. Because, this board has voted on a lot of stop signs that I didn't support being put up. In particular, near where I live. And when they put up that sign, there was a police car up by the swimming pool, the private swimming pool. Seems like every week, watching to see if anybody run that stop sign over there near my neighborhood. So, if you got folks speeding through neighborhoods where kids are playing and citizens who are concerned about that, we need to put a car over there. I think sometimes they put cars over there that aren't occupied. I mean, maybe we need to put up a speeding sign or something. But I know one thing that, you know, near my neighborhood where they put up this stop sign I voted against, it seemed like every time I came through there was a police car sitting there waiting to get somebody for running a stop sign. So, you know, I'm not a supporter of speed bumps for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is emergency vehicles and other things that need to go through those streets. Speed bumps aren't necessarily the way to go. But signs that tell people what their speed is and police cars, I think, can be a good deterrent to speeders.
Mayor Pro Tem?
If memory serves me correct, when the people from Lanier Street came last year, they were asking to reverse the stop sign, have the stop sign on that mid street. What's the name of the mid street? Taylor, coming off of Rectory Street, have it reversed like they did on Hicks Mill Road in Oxford. Hicks Mill Road was terrible. It was terrible. And they put surprise stop signs up. And it changed the flow of traffic leaving Food Line going down Hicks Mill Road. So that I feel is something we could consider and investigate with whomever. But this is the second time that those people have come about that street and the traffic on that street.
Commissioner McCray?
All of those are good ideas, great ideas, but in defense of the police department and law enforcement in general, and of course, if you don't work in the field, you wouldn't know. There has been a tough time getting folks to come to work in public service, specifically law enforcement. And I think we are in the midst of trying to increase our numbers as far as the police department. And hopefully when that does happen, no, not hopefully, when that does happen, you know, then we'll be able to put, you know, to be spread more and be better seen throughout the city within itself. Again, I just want to make that note. It isn't the concern isn't falling on deaf ears. It's not a foregone conclusion that, well, OPD won't be doing anything or the fire department. That's not the case. What it is again, it's unfortunately we're in a time span now where public service isn't looked upon as the way it was back in the day. So we're trying to rebuild and reinstitute that, and hopefully when that does happen, you know, we will be able to put the cars, you know, when we have the manpower, you know, put the cars in place and, you know, hopefully deter some of that. And I've already, even while we were here, you know, text the chief and like some of these things we definitely need to take a look at, and it will be taken, you know, into consideration and looked into.
Commissioner Connor?
Yes, sir. So as we were getting that presentation, I was looking at Forest, Lanier, Rectory, with East McClanahan, and ultimately Williamsboro. And it sort of dawned on me that as we've been doing construction on College Street and the medians are being installed, the roundabout is currently being built on Williamsboro Street, that kind of makes sense that that could be a workaround to bypass downtown. I would just be curious from the police chief's perspective and the city engineer's perspective, and whomever appropriately, if they would be able to provide us with any recommendations, if there's anything that we might be able to do. If that ends up being a cut through because we now have roundabouts and other infrastructure that's being installed, if there's anything we can do, whether it be to Commissioner. No, wait. Which one y'all brought up? I forget which one you didn't want speed bumps and stop signs, and which one you want light. But to your point, if any of those might be helpful in that, but I think in the past we have deferred to you, Chief, for recommendations on those pieces. So, if you don't mind.
I think the first thing that needs to be done is some traffic study. Us by using our speed measuring The city engineer and I also have been texting about stop signs. Maybe a temporary stop sign strategically placed in different places, but yes, since all this construction, Lanier Street is a cut through. And people are, Mr. Bridges, I have a whole lot of cars on Lanier Street, they're all in the parking lot. But yeah, let's give us the opportunity to
Okay.
gather that information.
I think we would welcome that.
Yeah.
Commissioner Bellis.
We need to understand that there's a difference between speed bumps and speed humps. Speed bumps I really don't care for. They're small, they're very hard on your alignment. It's like running into a pothole every time you hit it. But speed humps, they're longer, they more wider. You pretty much get a smooth drive over it if you're doing the minimum speed that you're supposed to be doing. If you ain't doing the minimum speed, then it's going to be a ramp for you. And the front of your car ain't going to be in a good condition when you're done with it. I'm all for speed humps, not really for speed bumps. I've seen it used in bigger cities like Orlando, where my mom lives at, where they've had a lot of speeding on the main road, and they put on a 2-lane main road, and they put those speed humps in there and a roundabout, and it definitely slowed down traffic. It didn't slow down emergency services from being able to get to people, but it definitely helped put a dent in the issue that we have. Stop signs, on the other hand, being that I lived on Lanier Street or right in front of Lee Street, the only way that I could see stop signs being effective is there's a stop sign on Lee Street and then a stop sign on the next street over, where people gotta drive, stop, drive a little more, stop, where you constantly making them stop. Then that's the only way that I see them stopping, because when I was there, I mean, it was rough getting in and out of that driveway. And I understand, because I used to see them go right by the police department. They ain't care about the but we do need to understand that there's a difference between speed bumps and speed humps. And I think speed humps will be more effective and less drastic on emergency vehicles.
I think we need a stop sign
Yeah.
at the police department. There's only coming up, going down Lanier Street, we should have a stop, because they leave CVS or Senior Center and they're gone. So I think that will help quite a bit. Also, yes, there's speed humps. There's a lot in Durham now. They're being installed in Durham, Morrisville. And the other thing is, you go to a lot of cities and they have the radars up that you drive through and you go speeding. Guess what? You will have a ticket in the mail within a week. I know it's costly, and that's something maybe as we get a grant right on board, we can probably look into that and see how we can get those things to help control the traffic. Because yes, I do live on West Front Street, and they come flying down there like a speedway. So.
And I gotta say this, because I don't know, anybody that's been on this board a while know I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. When I make a comment, it is not my purpose to criticize our police department. I mean, I'm nobody needs to come into the defense of the police department as it relates to me. I mean, I am very supportive of our law enforcement. However, I just know what works, and what works is police presence. When it comes, and if folks are saying there are certain places where people are speeding, maybe we just need to focus in that area a little while. Because I'm telling you, people stop at that stop sign because they know that there was a police car over there by the swimming pool almost every other day. And you know that, police chief. And I wondered, why it was so important for folks to stop right there where that swimming pool is. But that being said, I think that if we're having citizens coming here complaining about speeding on their street and they keep coming back, we're gonna wait until a kid get killed over there? You know, we need to, and you're right. There's a lot of police cars over there in the parking lot. Put them out there.
Hey, Mayor, if I could respond, my comment was not in defense of the police department, as my intentions are with all my comments is to educate and properly inform, I guess, as much as possible. So when decisions are made, they'll be based off of that info. So again, I hope that is the intent, that is received that way. Again, it's not in defense. Again, it's just to provide education, provide knowledge. So whenever decisions are made, they'll be made based off that knowledge.
City Manager?
Yes, I think along with some other areas, recently Rollingwood was brought to our attention regarding speeding, that getting together with staff to look at multiple approaches. Typically, these will take a multi-pronged effect, law enforcement, some traffic calming measures, and I think we can put that together for each of those places. I'll certainly spend some more time in that area as well to observe that. But I think that's ultimately what it will take, some of these things that you're mentioning, and we can put together a plan for it to how we can progress.
I think everybody knows Commissioner Bridges say things that he's not really personally attacking anyone, but maybe his way of expressing me seems like he is, but I don't think he's attacking none. If he's attacking you, let you know in so many words. Commissioner Tovey.
As the city manager's just
Is that true?
reminded me about Rollingwood, Holly Drive. And I know you don't like speed bumps, but they've been asking for a speed bump in there for about 6 years now. And I did speak to the chief.
She got a hand up.
Chief,
that you did do a traffic study down there. You did do a traffic study down there, and the average speed was what, 27 miles an hour?
Yes, sir. And the complaint coming from that particular area is HOA, and they have placed their own speed limit signs.
I see that,
They're
yeah.
15 miles an hour. They are not enforced.
No.
And we had a difficult time explaining to them that we cannot enforce their speed limit signs. We have to go city places or state places in that particular area.
I was gonna bring that up, but thank you, chief.
Okay, with that, we're moving into public hearing. We are in public comments. We close the public comment section. Public hearings and city business. Citizens may only speak on public hearing items at this time. Citizens do not need to sign up to speak at public hearing. Regularly recognized by the mayor, come forward to the podium, state your name, address, like we always do, and we'll allow you to speak on the public hearing. First item for public hearing today is for. We don't have. Okay. Okay, right. We are calling for public hearing for requests of the rezone 3 parcels located in Hicksman Road from neighborhood business to GR5 general residentials. I think the next item will be consider adopting the attached capital improvement plan.
Staff recommend calling for public hearing on September.
Okay, I got it. Sorry, I'm moving too fast. Is there a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next item. Consider adopting the attached capital improvement plan ordinance. Staff recommends adopting the CIP ordinance. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one question I'd like to ask, is there anything in this that will help us improve Hillsborough Street? Is there any funding available? I know Commissioner Velez wanted to bring that up.
Y'all let me address that now. Hillsborough.
Is that all right, Commissioner?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. The first answer to your question is no, because it's going to be addressed before that. All right. Where are we, Hillsborough? For those of you who don't know, the history, when the water and sewer line project was first awarded to the company not currently doing the project. It ended up being a project that we needed to make a change in the contractor. And when that happens, it involves a lot of things. It's not just simply, hey, you go over here and do this work. You have a lot of engineering, regulatory, and funding agencies that you have to deal with. All right, so once I got worked through, and we were able to award the contract to the new contractor that's since been working on it. You've seen them out there. They're getting close to finishing up the water line and the laterals. Now we'll be able to move on to the paving part, which is what you really want to know about. And we intend to have work going on in October. It could be starting sooner if some things work out. It could be later if we run into storms or unforeseen circumstances. So right now we anticipate the work to be going on in the month of October for Hillsborough Street.
Thank you.
I got a question. When does the asphalt plant closes down? Because last year we did not do it because the plant closed down.
It won't be close enough.
It won't be close.
I would like to urge that this would need to be done sooner than October.
So we can to get the contractor the best we can, but I mean, the contractor has his schedules and things as well. So we'll obviously want to do it as soon as we can.
Now, do we have to go with this contract, or can we subcontract this to another contractor?
By the time you go through that process, it would be way,
I'm just happy we've got a sort of a starting date. That's because to me, it's just unacceptable that the residents of this city have had to put up with that road so long.
Now,
Damaging their vehicles. I drive it all the time. It's terrible.
I guess another suggestion is there a way that we can maybe have discussions with this contractor to see if they can do the portion from Walgreens to the courthouse to College Street to McCallahan right there, prior to the Hot Sauce Festival coming into town, and then continue construction after?
I think it's going to be highly unlikely. I certainly don't mind asking, but I think it's going to be highly unlikely.
I would seem to think that somewhere along something happened because we knew that we was going to have to come in and do this.
Yeah, this is something that's been in discussion way too long. And to be honest with you, I'm tired of waiting on it. The citizens are tired of waiting on it. It's something that needs to be done.
Can I chime in?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
I honestly think that the engineer and our manager are doing the best they can. I don't think we're the only contract that this provider has at the time. And I don't know. I don't know. The streets are bumpy, yes. But the end, I'm looking at the end. Why are they bumpy? It's so that we can provide our citizens better than what we had. And yes, it's taken us some time, but haste makes waste. Meaning, I'd rather for us to take our time and get it done right the first time than have to go back and repeat it a second time. And it's like you can't have so many cooks trying to make one cake. You're gonna make a mess. I think we just need to ask our citizens to be patient with us. We're doing the best we can. That's how I feel.
Commissioner Ellis.
With all due respect, Mayor Pro Temp, this is something that I've been pushing since February. This was the reason why I brought the DOT in to see if maybe we can get through discussion. So this is something that I've been pushing for planning or whatever, just in case if DOT wasn't unable to do it. Right now, the current situation was that DOT had us on the list prior to the pipe work, and we had to pass it up because the pipe needed to be replaced. We didn't need new roads and they have to dig into it. So that pushed us to 2029. But my whole purpose was to try to get them to get us paved a whole lot sooner, and we can start planning for something a whole lot sooner, just in case if they don't do it. And in this case, they've tried, they couldn't get us further down on the list. So this planning should have been being done in the background as a just in case situation if DOT wasn't able to provide it. Now in 2029, from now to 2029, we might can go into discussions with DOT on what they supposed to have done for us in 2029 and how maybe they can provide other paving services to other state maintained road within the city. But this is something that's been being talked. I talked about this during my campaign trail. I've discussed about this situation. We're more than a year in on this, and I'm just tired of it being pushed back, and it needs to be done.
We are actually looking at the capital improvement plan ordinance.
Right.
Which
Yeah, that was
involves
just a
all
question I
this.
had,
And the question
had
was,
for that plan.
and the city manager requested if he could just
He answered it.
answer the question up on the street. So that's why we moved into this phase. Okay, so going back to the consider attached capital improvement plan ordinance.
Motion and second.
We have a motion. Move second. We had a discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consider approving the lease agreement between Franklin F. W. Hancock's and Hancock and the City of Oxford House, City of Oxford, to house the Oxford Police Department. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if you would just allow a minute or two. So I've been in talks with the department, and there are concerns with moving to this new location. And I'll just highlight a few in the sake of time. So basically, we'll be going from a 10,000 square foot building to approximately 5,000 square foot building. There's concern if equipment will fit. One of the highlights of that would be the evidence room, and just for the sake of folks here, and again, as I stated before, these are just points to consider. So again, so whenever decisions are made, we can let's ponder these as well. The evidence will be housed in, there wouldn't be enough room to house the evidence in that dwelling. So basically we had to stay where it is. And that's for those in the field, that's a huge risk, because in some point there's a possibility of losing that chain of custody of the evidence. And what that means is if we would ever go, if there would ever be a trial, we would have to prove, the police department had to prove that that evidence was secure, there was no, it couldn't be any loopholes or any doubts when it comes to that. All right. Additionally, I just happened to look at the agreement again and just looked at the amount that it would cost, and I'll just give averages. So we're looking at roughly $386,000, I think, over the over the course. And in talking with, thanks, Brian, appreciate it. And in talking with the department, the question did come about. So I know we have some leakage, and I know we have some HVAC concerns as well. So the question was posed was, is it possible that those funds could be used to, let's say, just for we'll just say a mid-level roof replacement, which even if it was in the major level, that would probably sustain, that would hopefully cure the leaking problem, but it will actually sustain the building for anywhere from 20 to 30 years with a new roof. Other points that were brought up to me, because I have to put these on so I can see. Again, and I know there were some foundation concerns as well. And I know, I guess that there was a study done maybe back mid '94, and I guess the and I'll paraphrase, the foundation damage from then into now has been very minimal. So where there had, of course, with any building, with any development, if you've been in your home for any amount of time, there's going to be some settling. But I'm not sure is that the place where it would be or be deemed detrimental for the department. Another concern was the HVAC. I know we have some issues with that, and the question was posed again if we could take some of that funding to correct the HVAC. Again, it is, and Jerome, I'll wrap it up because I don't want to just keep rambling on and on. But it's a substantial amount of money, and when I quoted it $386,000, that was just basically rent. That doesn't cover the insurance. That doesn't cover the maintenance that would be required, to maintain the new dwelling as well. So again, I would just ask my fellow members, board members, to when you are, of course, making your decision, to consider these facts as well. Again, and vote your conscience.
Can I ask you one question? I believe we have a mold test that is going to be conducted on that building.
Yes, Wednesday.
Okay. One, I propose an alternate motion that we table this, but I have concerns. I'm agnostic on the building itself. Previously, under previous management and boards, we have put roughly $250,000 or about that towards that building for remediation. There are still ongoing issues, and the continuation of putting money into that building, throwing good money after bad, for the building that's likely going to have to be torn down, is also a concern. Certainly, we don't want to put the police department in a situation where they're moving to a facility that's not fit for their daily operational needs.
Right.
But I am concerned if there is ongoing mold issues in that building, particularly if we find that there is some hazardous PCBs or something along those lines in that test, that we might have a liability issue on top of that. And I'd be extremely concerned if that were the case.
Commissioner Tobin.
Just another question about the foundation issue. Does our engineer, Amy, have you seen that? Have you tested that foundation? Is it stopped sinking or is it still sinking? Do you know? I'm concerned about what we call throwing good money after bad because of continually. But I also understand that from the police department, the other building, the Truist Bank, the old bank, is just not big enough. But I'm concerned about throwing money after. But if the foundation and the mold is a problem, the HVAC, I really don't know. I think we should do what Brian says. Commissioner Garcia, to table it. Let's get some more information, if we can get the mold test
Mayor
looked
Pro
at,
Tem.
and maybe.
I know we keep kicking the can down the road about the armory, about property that we own. Have we really, really, really considered looking into what it would cost this board to upgrade that building, the armory? And I don't know if it's enough square footage to house the police department. I don't know. But if we're gonna put money into something, let's first make sure that we own would not be sufficient for our needs.
Amen.
That way we will be spending money on our own property, that in the event when we do build our new emergency center, our property will be we will be able to rent out our property or lease our property and get some money back for the citizens of Oxford that we invested in our property. But if the bank is not big enough to house everything that we need, then we need to table this and reconsider.
I'm gonna speak from HVAC. Mr. Bridges?
And, you know, I was just going to ditto what Commissioner Fields just said, because, I mean, I thought it was a great idea. And you know, that Commissioner Velez made at our last meeting, wherein why haven't we looked at or considered the armory? I mean, I know that it has to have some work done to make it safe, but Lord have mercy, that's a big building. And I'm estimating the cost, you know, I mean, I read the lease and everything that for this Truist building, we talking close to $400,000 over the contract period. And that does not include any repairs and other stuff we might have to do to that building. I didn't know it was 50% smaller than the facility that the police department is in now. So yeah, I'm glad I got that information. So yeah, I would like to hear from some professionals though about the condition of the police department's present building. You know, we've thrown around, well, how much mold over there? You know, how dangerous it is. Is it for the employee? Let's get some experts in there, look at that place, you know, do some measurements and find out how safe that building is and how much it would cost to make it safe. I know we're talking about replacing the roof. You know, we got $400,000 in a building we're not gonna own, that we gotta retrofit and do stuff to. It's a no-brainer for me. I'd rather we fix the present building, but we get some folk in there that know what the problem with the building is. Not, I don't know how much mold's in there or how dangerous it is for folks. Let's get some people in there that can do that.
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Bridges is correct. We need to get the proper professional folks that can come in and look at the building. But by experience, which is true, the HVAC system as it exists right now, if you were to call OSHA, you'd probably close that building down. Because you can go in there on any given day and wipe stuff and you just, it's all in your hand. That should have been done years ago. It's a health hazard for the police, chief, and nurse staff. Taking the roof off, and we based it off a 1994 study that was done to the structure, and we're in 2024, and we just invested, I think somebody said $200 and something thousand in roof, and we're gonna take it off again and put another roof on there. We got some serious issues. Mayor Pro Tem talked about for our sake, I think the police chief and the fire chief has identified a couple locations they want for the permanent
Right.
site. One of them is the landfill that's out behind Wendy's, that the study was done years ago, and nothing, just left there. We should have been looking to get that site cleaned up, and then we'll be able to move a good police department and fire, make a joint public safety. So again, we've been kicking the can down the curb for years, and everybody up here is saying good things. And we really need to sit down and talk about this thing and make sure we get the proper information that we all need to make the right decision. Commissioner Tobey.
Having heard of that, I withdraw my motion.
May I propose an alternate motion that we table this until after we get some
Facts.
to Mr. Bridges' point, professional opinion
Yes.
on the mold, which appears like that's happening this week.
Second.
So we can have a more informed decision on the condition of the building as it exists.
Second.
Not only the mold, get a professional price on replacing HVAC. The roof, the what is it? Roof. And put it on paper, says this is what it will cost the city of Oxford to do this to this building. Get somebody to tell us exactly what the armory needs. Both. We need to know if the police department is just so out there with repairs, then our next alternative should be, well, can we go into the armory? What would it cost us to go into the armory? You know, somewhere that's gonna take, if we move our police force, we need to move the entire unit. We don't need to have one half over here and one half over there, because we're gonna be paying rent over there and paying insurance, light bill, and everything else over there. What I'm saying is we need to look at not just hypothetical and telling us what happened back in 1994. Whatever. Have it on paper saying, commissioners, this, and then let us make a informed decision, not just hypothetical.
I believe Mr. Blasco has that information, isn't it? Yes.
Thank you. We're gonna table it, Mr. Khan, we're gonna all look at that.
City manager. Say that the reason we got this was because we did get pricing, and it was in that minimum $500,000 range, and we didn't even do a deep dive into it, so that's why we brought this up. Certainly, we can go as deep as you like and get all the, as much information as you would like. Certainly not a problem to do that, but I just wanted to make sure it was known that this wasn't just on a whim or that we just
Oh, yeah.
eyeballed it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we did get pricing on that. Now, I can tell you without, when we can do a deep dive into the Army, this is gonna be way over $500,000, just knowing that. And assuming that it's not even over $1 million, which is probably gonna be way over $1 million, the time that it will take to do that is gonna be a long time. Plus, if you're gonna spend that kind of money into it, you might as well spend that kind of money into your permanent home.
Right.
However, as I always say, it's your money. We'll do whatever you need us to do in terms of giving you information, and you can make the decision you like. But I just wanted to just kind of refresh your memory about how we got here. Is that because we did do some pricing already? Because if it would have been like $100,000 to do the whole project, police station, yeah, that's no brainer. You definitely would do that. So, but when you get to this amount, then yeah, you got some questions. I mean, how much money do you want to put into a building that you're probably, hopefully not going to have in a few years because you're going to be in a much better public safety setting. And just remind it, people that don't know what's driving that is, we have to have another fire substation. Okay, so that's the driver of it. So if you're going to go ahead and go through that process with a fire substation, and that's essentially a requirement for our ISO rating that helps with the insurance rates and things like that. Then you might as well go ahead and let's look at public safety as a whole,
Mhm.
and include it in the EOC that will help with any type of emergency comes up and things like that. So that's what's driving us. So anytime so yes, either way, you're gonna spend some money. There's no question that it is less space to begin with. For the police department, it will present some challenges for them. No question about that. But the main question you'll ultimately have to answer, and like I said, we'll be glad to do a deeper dive and get a even more refined price, because it's been several months since we've done that. Do you want to put money into a building you're most likely not going to have, or do you put a lot of money into it, which will be a lot of money, but it probably most likely at that point means you're foregoing a public safety station to put that kind of money into it. Then you just build a fire substation, and that'll be a whole lot less money. So those are things to be considered. I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I just want you to be aware of your options.
I just want to restate the motion real quick that we will table this issue pending those results, but I would like for, once we receive those results, and any other information about that building, if Mr. Burnett would provide us with any liability that we might be facing if there are any abatement issues or things that we have to consider for that building, because I'd like to understand not just the financial cost of remediation, but if there is a liability that we will be assuming now that if we do in fact find something.
With the old police station.
With the old police station.
My whole thing is that whatever move we make, I want our citizens to know that we did a deep dive study on why we're doing what we're doing, and we just did not do it haphazardly and not thought-provoking, not laying out all the strategies, because the bank has some strategical issues, in my opinion, with the church being right there in front of it, with the daycare being right there in front of it. There are a whole lot of what-if scenarios that could be brought up with our police being there. So
I've been asking on the building, what I'm concerned about is the condition of the current building.
okay, that's our main concern.
What we are looking at, which that's what I'm trying to address, is what do we have in front of us with the existing building? The lease for that building or another piece of property, I think is secondary to understanding what
Okay.
we have with the existing.
I agree with
Right.
that. I agree with that. I'll second you on this.
That's my concern.
Mr. Blasco, you can provide us a copy of those documents and have it shared to is it okay, city manager, have that information shared with the board?
When did you have that done, Mr. Blasco? No, I'm not talking about the mold study, but I'm talking about the paperwork you had when you had last year. So we got to consider that everything's going up since you had it done. Okay.
Commissioner Lumpkins.
How thorough is this mold test? Is it gonna cover everything?
So we are.
Voting on substitute
Mr.
motion.
Toby removed his,
I did.
removed that, so Joyce coming, and
I move, Mayor Pro Tem seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. Accept the June 2024 financial report. And approve July 1st and 9th minutes.
So moved. Consent. We good?
Now motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion carries. We are going to. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was not. We're gonna start with Mr. Before we move into executive session, let's start with Commissioner Velez. Do you have any comments?
I'd just like to say thank you for everybody who has came out and put a presentation today for the board, and not just for the board, for the citizens of this city. I also want to thank my colleagues for being very thorough some of our discussions this evening, because I do agree that we need to do the best that we can and make sure that we look into all our options before we make a decision on anything. Um, I've been a very avid supporter of the armory with the possibility of the police department, especially after I heard that there's a possible gun range in the basement of it. So I thought that would be a perfect place. But so I'm just glad that we have definitely thought everything out, and it's been a little rough tonight, but it is well worth it.
Commissioner Lumpkins.
Yeah, two quick things. I wanted to thank everybody that was involved in National Night Out. Upset that the weather didn't work in our favor, but I think it worked out well in Hicks County. But yeah, I took my daughter. She had a great time. She came home with her little bag and was all happy about that. So thank you to all our law enforcement and fire department for helping put that on. Whoever else had a hand in it. So that was a great event. I mean, they had a monkey there. I think there's a picture.
They had two of them.
They had two.
Yeah.
Chief might take that. Second is a quick update on the branding initiative. We're getting as close as I think we have been. I think we're meeting tomorrow. Okay, yeah, meeting at 1:30 tomorrow, and hopefully we'll come to a decision then. So we're getting there. Yep, for the branding. Yep. That's all I have.
Commissioner McCray.
Yes, sir. To our city employees, thank you guys for what you do on a daily basis. For the citizens of Oxford, those of you here and those that may be watching online, thank you guys thank you for sacrificing your time coming out and in support of the city. And to my colleagues, thank each and every one of you for your spirited debates as we try to move forward to make Oxford a better place for everyone. I would say, to everyone, keep us in your prayers as we continue to go forward again to do those things that we feel is best for the city.
Commissioner Khan.
I would like to thank Xavier Wortham and the kids from the Oxford Township Drum Ensemble. There was a presentation last Friday with those camp kids, which was absolutely amazing. Turns out it was participation. So those who did attend with me, you missed out on participation.
I heard about it.
Yeah, you missed out on me dancing. There might be a video out there.
I heard about it.
But it was fantastic. Those kids had a great summer. I was extremely impressed with the various numbers they were able to learn in a short period of time. It was fantastic. So congratulations to the Oxford Township Youth Ensemble in their accomplishments this summer.
Yeah. No. Yes, sir.
I was asked to give an update where we're on the communication development process. So just quickly, come up on the screen just a second. Go ahead and go to the next slide. All right. Two key things I want to highlight is if you don't know about the review team when the project comes in, the review team consists of the planning director, engineer, public works director, fire chief, police chief. Once that comes in, the planning director pretty much takes charge of that in terms of managing comments and things like that. If we need to have a review team meeting, then those take place. Sometimes it's just with a couple, sometimes it's all of them, depending on what needs to happen. The thing I really want to point to is that we're moving toward an electronic process that will ultimately help with communication and being able to monitor where development projects stand. I should be getting an update with our software provider that's working on that now. Should have it this week. We've been working on it for a couple of months, and we're very close to having something there. What that will enable us to do is when we have an intake in, it gets dispersed to the review team. And it gets done simultaneously. It's not like in some places where, okay, you send it to stormwater and then you send it to public works. It all goes out at the same time. Part of that is to try to cut down on time. Okay? So part of this electronic process too will be so that once it's reviewed by whichever department, then they put in a comment, review good, or we've got issues that need to be addressed. Then they get forwarded on by the plan director. Ultimately, we'd like to see where the developer themselves can actually be able to look into and see where everything is in the queue, so to speak. If you go to the next slide. This is just, these dates are approximate, but it gives you kind of an idea of what the process goes through. The initial contact, that can be anything from a telephone call to an email. Hey, this is what I'm interested in doing. And then they'll typically set up a pre-application, typically with Cheryl, because Cheryl can give them some insight on what to do so that they just don't come in and try to submit an application and not having any idea what they're doing. So during the pre-application process, they may submit some sketch plan, things like that. We'll send it out to the review team, give roughly about 14 days to make some general comments. This is to help make the application process go smooth. So when it comes in for the formal application, then we go through a 30-day review. That's when you're getting ready to send it to the planning board. And so they'll do a 30-day review. They'll take the comments, send it back to the developer. Depending on how fast that response is, we don't control that. So essentially in the queue, it'd be in the developer's hands to respond to comments. Let's say they get it back pretty quickly, we turn around, we review it again another 14 days, hopefully everything's resolved. And then we move forward to the planning board. Depending on when that takes place, it can take 30 to 45 days to get it on the planning board, and that's just really a calendar timing thing. Assuming it gets to the planning board, then another 30 days to put on your agenda to call for a public hearing. And again, that's a timer. Then after that, 30 days to actually formally vote on it. So if you started in January, you're looking at roughly 6 to 7 month process, but there are some things that can make it a little bit quicker if, particularly if the developer's got everything in order, it makes it go faster, and then if you get the time on certain days. Next slide. In the construction process, we'll do about 45 days to review the construction drawings, because it takes a lot of time to do that. Lots of layers to go through. Then as far as 14 days to review any type of bonds, except for typically infrastructure, but be some other things like landscaping and things like that. And approval of plats and the issue zoning permits. A lot of those are driven by what's in the developer agreement. Okay, so if they come in and say they want their zoning permit, we haven't done any of the inspections yet, whether it be the road, water, sewer, anything else, okay, we got to go in there and we got to start that process. Now, if the developer works with us and as they're getting things done, then that can go faster, because if they come in for their permits, we will have already done some of those things. Okay. So, and then after that, it gets sent on to the county for building permits, and then most of the other permits don't typically take as long once the construction project gets started, things like driveway permits. So that's what we're working toward. We'll have a more formal plan, I suspect, within the next month or two. But just wanted to give you an update of the process. the estimation of days that it takes. But the main thing is, I think once we get to be electronic, it will help keep things in front of us, not only individually, but as a staff. Because a lot of times you can get an email and it can be lost before you even have a chance to look at it because you get 20, 30 of them and you got people talking to you all day. But you can always go to a portal and look, say, hey, where am I on this project? And that'll have that information. So I think that will really help with that. And like I said, ultimately, because we all can certainly use our memory time. So wanted to update you on that. That's all I have.
That's it. I think that will help definitely. Commissioner Toby.
I want to thank everybody who worked through that storm Debbie. I think our public works did really well. There were quite a number of trees down. I think there's still, maybe off-road, there are still some more trees down. But I want to thank you very much for all the work you did going out in that storm. And it wasn't so much windy, but it was a lot of rain. We had a lot of rain. And I want to thank everybody for coming out to the Granville Education Foundation last Saturday as well. I think that Saturday before that, I didn't have a chance to thank everybody. But that was a good day out. I've got a pie in my face for it, for my efforts. But it's all for a good cause. So thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's nice to see so many people out. Thank you.
Sir, Commissioner Bridges.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Something that I don't know if anybody else attended or not, but I want to thank Melissa for the ice cream social and everybody that helped her put it together. If you didn't come to it, you missed some of the best ice cream. Thank you for thinking about our staff. It was during the hottest time of the year that we had this heat wave, and they took the time to say, hey, come in out of the heat and have some ice cream. And it was good to see the staff sitting down, enjoying ice cream. Good old ice cream. So thank you. And thank you to the staff for everything that you do every day. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, City Manager. I think that will solve a lot of issues that we deal with on a daily basis. I want to touch a couple bases. I know we've been working on getting our Audra and Bridgeville improved here, but when I see some of us older guys trying to see what's on the monitor up there, is it, Mr. Snyder, is it that we need a larger monitor screen, or what can we do to correct this issue? Because the
public can't read it.
Public can't read it too well. So we need to see how we can work on that. So can we get together with that later on? A couple things. Hot sauce is coming up, and our gateways coming into the city. It is DOT property. A lot of it is DOT property. But I think we need to move on this. And why I say that, because I took a trip with a man that's dedicated to the city, Mr. Cottrell out there. And we went down to the district maintenance and we tried to plead with them a couple of days ago to come out and take care of us. They could not answer us. Since they don't do it physically, it's contracted. So that's another issue. And I think for the good sake of our city, that we're looking to have, I would say, we're thinking anywhere 30 to 40,000 people flowing to for 2 days. I was with one company, Ideal, and they planned their company business in order to bring everybody from all over the nation to Hot Sauce Festival. So,
I was going to say, coincidentally, the Public Works Director, we've had that conversation. He is definitely going to do that. He had the same exact thoughts that you did, and wanted to get it done a little bit closer to time so that it has the freshest kind possible.
thank you, sir. And I think volunteers will be accepted. I always say, Mr. Blasco, he needs the manpower, and I will sure definitely join Power Drag. Not until we can't do it, but I guess Mr. Cottrell said help. Again, that's outstanding because we really need to make our city be ready for this event. The school sent out the school story time. I think a couple of our commissioners participate in the school story time. So they need volunteers. I myself will try to get on their list. Not as constant as the mayor pro temp and two gentlemen over here. So we need to do that. The other concern I think we need to look at is City Hall's safety. Our City Hall is wide open for anybody to walk in here. Our doors, our main doors, are not working. Majority of them not working. Do we need to replace them or repair them? I just think, I think Mr. Blasco did some study and we need to get the chief involved, but we need to make it safer for our staff working here with all the things that's going on in the world and they can happen. We need to protect our people. And this building is not safe. And I know it's gonna take money. So we need to look at that. So when the city manager brings it to us, we let them say, okay, yeah, or if he's in the budget, we can do it. But I think those are things we need to look at. And I think overall, other than that, I think we covered all your bids room, and I think we've covered just about anything. And what we will do is, at this time, we're going to adjourn to go into executive session, but we need to take a 5-minute recess. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
You got a second? Motion carried.